Hello everybody and welcome to the Halostation December the 8th community meeting where I will be your host, Desalane, recording.
Alright, sounds good. I might be a little quiet because I've got push to talk on and I'm playing games right now, so yeah, it's up.
Small reminder, all questions and comments for the community meeting should go in the meeting hall text chat. General voice is probably not going to be read for the most part.
All right, guys. Welcome to the meeting. Yep. We're starting now. Hey guys, I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving and all that. And it's that time of year, about to get fucking Christmas and shit. Yeah. As stated before, keep all the questions and stuff to the meeting hall, and yeah. Yeah, so I'll just dive into the first thing that's been that needed to be discussed is like the server timeline. Yes, we've moved to 2530, but we have not yet updated the ROE to reflect that yet and such, since the server still has those old rules and whatnot kind of still there. I wanted to take the time, and I guess we could try to like plan a day where we could have a canon first contact event and then move on from there. I don't know how all you guys would feel about that.
All these great inputs, making good use of your slow-mo time, I see.
My question for that is, when we do that, are we gonna keep whatever happens in the event as what we consider canon?
Yeah, pretty much.
If so, all right. So, the only issue I have is that would probably, knowing how everyone plays as a group in the server, like comparatively to what it's like in the actual lore, I feel like we deviate a lot from the canon almost immediately there.
Yeah, well, it's like, let's just have a little twist on it, because it's still like the essence of SS13. So it's gonna get silly sometimes. So it's like, it's not gonna be like 100%.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I could probably come up with a reason why the humans are still losing and whatever if we need to.
But if your character dies, it's like, honestly, if you want to kill off your character, that's on you. I'm not gonna like force that on anybody, because that'd be kind of lame. Yeah, but flash clones would just mean like your clone would just die immediately. Like, you're just not.
Well, most rounds aren't more than a couple of hours, so that's actually a flash cone lifespan. So you never know.
There are several flash clones that survived for years because of the medical technology that exists in that timeline.
Yeah, that was Daisy, I think.
Yeah, one of the Spartans flash clones was still alive, and I think she got close to or did kill herself. I don't remember.
Yep.
Daisy killed her clone, but she didn't. The clone didn't kill itself.
And yeah, because I know like once we move forward to the 2530 timeline stuff, I know like Orions are going to be, yeah, why are they still there? I'm guessing we could probably like do something where it's like a neutral place where any party, like the URF and UNSC, could possibly benefit from it. Like just having like have an abandoned Oni facility somewhere that's randomly spawned on the overmap with all the equipment to make an Orion, and then just like I don't know, make a possible side objective for them to for the UNSC to recover files, so nobody can just get it. I don't know, something like that, just to have an explanation for why they're still around.
Here's the plot twist. All your characters are already Flash clones every single round.
Oof.
I like that.
What was the ship Oni? Like, what do you or Orion? What are you talking about exactly?
It's because it's like somebody brought it up before. Like, if we're moving to 2530, why is Oni still producing Orion test subjects and stuff at the base? So instead, we could just like remove that out of the base and like repurpose the Oni base for something different, while still having like a decommissioned facility elsewhere that was used for the Orion project, so people can still make them. Like,
We can't make it Spartan 3s because they wouldn't have been around 2530. Spartan 2s were only just out. Like they would have been first
Right.
initialized 25. That's when they first saw combat, more or
And
less.
the only base that made Spartan 3s was the one on Reach, right?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not.
I'm-
Probably
I
though.
don't think it specifies first I'm aware.
I'm pretty sure it specifies because it's like they trained like the Spartan 2s all trained on Reach. They were all trained mainly on Reach, I mean.
Spartan 2 facility, but all the Spartans go on strike. Fucking yeah.
Yeah, well, the Spartan 3 program started 2531, and that's when the program started, as in when they started abducting 6-year-old children for it. So you're not going to get Spartan 3s. Now.
I don't think it specifies. You remember that really big mech suit that was the original Mjolnir suit for
Mhm.
Spartans? Yeah, the big one with the power everything that they showed in Halo Legends. I don't
Isn't that
think
basically what our mech was based
prototype.
on?
yeah, we already have that. We have the actual mech form, and then we have the exosuit, but that just needs like coding for that to be done. For
my
that,
question is, did they ever specify where it was created? Because I don't think they did. I
don't
can't think of it.
I don't think they specified where it was created or anything, but it was destroyed on like Algolis during that battle.
Well, what I mean
Yeah.
is we could make it that the Oni base, because they never actually fielded those. They were only in the prototype phases.
Yeah.
They did specify, if you read Midnight in the Heart of the Midlothian, they're actually on the way to that very planet that they show in that like weird anime where the fucking Gundam suit comes out and shit. So like in the book they do specify that that specific
do?
planet. Yeah.
Planets Algolis.
but then again, like we don't have to be 100% here. There's like room for like wiggle room.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a plausible a thing that we could do. We could make it a Oni medical test facility where they do the augmentation tests that were used for Spartans and what they're improving upon to make the Spartan 3s, because they continued to work on the augmentations the Spartan 2s had to make the augmentations more cost effective and stuff. But it was all hush hush because it's still, highly illegal because, human experimentation.
Yeah, sounds solid.
I think it sounds plausible. They never specified where they worked on the augmentations to make the Spartans better and stuff. But I do know that they were working on it.
I mean, really, if we want to have Spartans, I would argue that the best lore-friendly one would be we could be experimenting on a second or third wave of Spartan 2s, because that would work. Because I don't think there's like super detailed about the second and third, fourth waves, etc. Because there were more waves. I don't know. Because obviously the first wave, yeah, all the second and third waves, if there even was a third wave, it's very very vague. So we could fuck around with that. So there's an idea if we wanted to actually add Spartans, but then again, there would still be like 14, 15-year-olds. No, I agree. Alexa, I don't think you should have Spartans unless they're admin spawned, but that's not to say I wouldn't like them as an ERT or something. Because people complain about ODSTs already. Imagine the complaints about Spartans in Mjolnir. Like, really?
They're gonna complain regardless. It doesn't matter what you do.
Alrighty. Cool. We'll touch back on that. Oh sweet. Sweet. Oh yeah, Kale's here. Cool. Would you like to start talking about giving a general overview of the new roadmap?
Nah, bro, I'm pretty fucked, eh? Up till 3 o'clock last night drinking.
Jesus, I can't blame you, dude.
That just sounds like a good night to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was
Every night's a
alright.
good
My
night.
mate came around and he was gonna smoke us out, but then he didn't, so I'm a bit sad now.
Kale, just
Alright.
remember your alcoholism has been recorded for the future.
Oh, it was already well known.
Yeah, like in the code we have like a bottle, like a drink called like Kale Ale.
Nice.
like- It was hidden on the. It was like a little room on the pillar bottom. Like it was like a coder room. It had a laptop, and then just like a couple of bottles of Kale Ale. And
Speaking of which, I am recording, so if you're not okay with being recorded or you don't want your fucking likeliness on a video that's going to be put up for posterity, then fuck off now. Or just don't talk.
So I chucked some links in chat. The new roadmap and the overmap arc plan.
The new roadmap.
So I want to get the Covenant stuff wrapped up by January 1st. Because there's a couple of weeks left. There's still some stuff being worked on. There's still some sprites we're waiting for. We've got probably 90% of the priority stuff done. There's still a few things that really badly need to be done. Mostly sprite stuff. So if you jump onto GitHub, we've got some bounties set up to incentivize the priority stuff that needs to get done. So if you can draw, or you're interested in drawing, and we'll give you some, and for submissions that meet the requirements, we can give you a little cash incentive.
all right, so yeah. So if y'all have any questions on the current roadmap, just go ahead and ask away. So I know I had the thread open for the overmap arc, and I did see some people putting in suggestions for that as well.
I have a question, not necessarily for the roadmap, but a question nonetheless. What are the plans for the words, please? Ranks. That's it. That's the word. What are the plans for ranks right now in the server-wise?
The original plan, and as far as I'm aware, this partially got implemented. The original plan was to have different rank selections open for different jobs, and each job would have a specific set of ranks. So, for example, the ship executive officer role, the ship CEO role could be a lieutenant commander, captain, commodore, for example. or you could have the pilot role, which could be lieutenant up to major, or you could have the Marine CO role, which could be lieutenant up to fucking colonel or something. And as far as I'm aware, there is a rank system in game. I haven't touched it though, so we could probably go through and fix that up a bit.
I ask because someone mentioned Spartans listening to ranked officers. Spartans were never higher than, I think, Master Chief Petty Officer, and I don't think many of them got to that rank.
I think one or two of them were actually higher than that. Yeah, Fred was higher for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
in the law, there were a couple of Spartans who went off to work at UNSC headquarters, and Oni, who got higher officer ranks. Serena Osmond, who headed Oni, is actually a Spartan too. So there were a few Spartans who got up there, but they'd still definitely fall under the chain of command. And for gameplay purposes anyway, if a Spartan got into a round alongside ODST and Marines, they would definitely be fairly low ranking, and they'd definitely fall under the chain of command.
Lieutenant's not higher than Master Chief, right?
It is higher.
It is
So
higher?
Master Chief is a non-commissioned officer rank, whereas
Yeah.
Lieutenant is a commissioned officer.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I always thought it was a little
There's
bit higher than that.
also there's also the thing about different branches. So there would be Navy branches, and then there would be Marine branches. Or
Yeah, Spartans.
fucking
Spartans
ranks.
are all Navy branch, I think.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to overcomplicate things too much. My general plan was always that Marines would still fall under the same chain of command as Navy, but they'd have very separate roles, separate directives, conditions, goals, I guess, around what they'd do. And so they'd have their own chain of command, which is mostly all they'd do, but the captain would give the order to deploy or recall at certain points, and the captain would liaise with the Marine commanding officer, the platoon leader, or whatever about what the Marine orders are. But then mostly it would be down to the Marine chain of command about all their orders.
For the sake of reference, this is what I personally use for ranks. I'm not sure how accurate this is, but this is what I always refer to. If you look at that rank, those are generally quite accurate from what other people have agreed, from what I've seen anyway. So yeah,
The UNSC rank structure is actually almost identical to the current
so-
US
Yep.
rank structure.
but that's what I use for reference. If anyone wants to look at that,
Yeah.
I mean,
same here.
I don't think we got to put every single rank in there for it. That would be absurd, to say the least.
Well, having a ranking system where there was a bit of flexibility, like what I mentioned before, could be interesting and fun and allow for a bit more character customization. One idea which we had early on was that the ranks could be tied to player experience, and so there'd be a combination of how many days you played on server, whether you are whitelisted within a faction would unlock higher ranks, and there'd be self-selection as well. So you could be advised to take a lower rank if you're a less experienced player, but you'd have the option of self-selecting a higher rank to unlock more complex features for that role. And so then the ranks themselves would have a little bit of variation for each role within the game. So for example, a high-ranking Navy officer could potentially have the option to call NPC ships to support them, whereas a low-ranking Navy officer might not. So sort of stuff like that, like maybe a high-ranking Marine officer could have the option to specify fire support, and they'd have access to that gameplay. But if they were a low-ranking Marine officer, they wouldn't, not so as not to sort of complicate that gameplay. But still, the basic stuff would always be open.
So I have a quick question. Who is this Master Chief we were referring to? Because I know like John Halo was a Spartan, right?
John Halo is the canon. No, Deso knows. John Halo is all you need to know about Halo lore. Okay,
John Halo is not the hero we deserve, but he's the one we need.
the one we have. So John Halo chatted the entire Covenant. That's all the lore you need to know.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
What was that? That's like 20 minutes and you already broke the meme rule.
My bad.
Yes. In other news, I'm planning on looking into a new server box, like in the info servers that currently the World server and Colonial Marines are using. So, and it's going to be a little bit cheaper than what we're currently paying for more. So that's a no-brainer. Hopefully, it'll fix some lag issues because I know we haven't tested, Operation Red Flag in a while. So we need to start doing that again. So maybe that'll probably help with that.
Maybe look into integrating updates from base station to fix some of the issues we might be having. Thoughts?
That's probably not going to happen. It's a good idea, though.
I mean, not all of the updates. Like, we have the luxury of picking and choosing.
It
THO
won't quite be that simple.
I know coding's not that simple. It's just
It's more of a Git problem because we can manually apply some of the code changes, but then, yeah, sure, we can manually port stuff over fairly easily, but then it becomes a case of what are the major changes that we want to get, and there's now about a year and a half or 2 years, I think, since the last update from Bay 12, so there's a lot of content we'd have to go through, and it's a project, basically.
I mean, yeah, I can see that. I'm just saying that it might be part of the lag issues we're having is because of the older code and our modifications to it. And we could look at what they've done to make their code smoother and whatever, and see about the different changes we might be able to make to our current code.
TK, like that's like a spriting thing, and that's like we could do that, but that's just a whole nother thing that like time would be better set elsewhere, working on core features instead of visual stuff right now.
Yeah, switching over to perspective from top down is a whole can of worms that people don't really like to get into.
Well, thankfully, it's like if we did, like we could just use some of the basic base stuff since they already kind of did majority of the work for that. But we do have some of our already done stuff for that. But it was just sitting around. That's like a later thing. Like if we decide to.
Are there any plans for weaponry changes, updates, adding, subtracting?
Yeah, so I'd like to work on the attachment system for human guns. So the system, as far as I've seen of it, it looks good, but there's a lot of content that we could add to it, which people have been asking for. A lot more variability. So the Colonial Marine system looks pretty good, and so we'd add a lot of content like that. It'd be for all human guns would have the option, but some would have more customizability than others. So, for example, you could go for a more high-tech, powerful gun might have less customization options, which would be a deliberate trade-off. Or you could go for more of a workhorse, all-round weapon, like probably the assault rifle would be highly customizable. And would have a lot of different options available.
The assault rifle already has a lot of, I think it's basically the only gun you can put attachments on currently.
Yeah, EXO just made the attachments as a proof of concept. So basically, for the attachments for the assault rifle right now, there's like a skeleton stock, a different type of stock, the red dot sight, a hollow sight, an ACOG sight, I think an extended barrel, and a few other things.
An extended barrel, and I believe there is also a laser sight and flashlight, I want to say.
Yeah, the flashlight is inbuilt with the gun, so you already have a verb for your MA5B assault rifle where you can turn on the flashlight, and adding a flashlight to the M7 Riley would be relatively easy because I added the flashlight to all the guns that are currently in.
Maybe one of the customizations is a upgraded flashlight that's better than whatever flashlight they have now. I tried the MA5 flashlight and it didn't seem very good in darkness. I think it was only like 2 or 3 squares.
Yeah, the light thing that I added was intentionally darker so that you can still use your gun and you don't need to use an actual flashlight, which would have more range. So you're trading off the ability to still shoot shit and have your gun ready as opposed to being able to see farther. So it's a trade-off between like not being able to use your gun or being able to see farther.
Right. Notes. The battle rifle was highly customizable as well. It's been shown. But I don't think the DMR was as customizable. But it's got like a tiny row on top too.
Just touching on it quick, bias. Don't consider the Spartan laser anything decent yet, because I'm the one coding it. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like in the deep end here. This is what I'm doing to learn code. So sort of don't regard that anything serious in server balance yet. That will be tweaked heavily a lot. And obviously, if anyone actually wants to implement it, they can just take it from me because I'm not experienced at all. So
You should have
Oh
started
yeah, the
out.
rocket launcher definitely does need to get buffed because it's like throwing like a wet napkin at people.
I got slammed in the side by a rocket launcher and still managed to mow down the dude that did it.
literally, I saw Kelso at one point, point blank themselves with the fucking rocket launcher, and all it did is put your fucking arm into orange. Ow, oof. Ow, oof.
The current problem with the missile launcher is that it's using like basic vanilla missiles. So what I could probably do is just make an entirely new gun that uses real projectiles, because right now the rocket launchers just hit scan because it uses, like, the missiles aren't even considered an ammo type, they're a completely different object.
Oh, they are.
Oof.
Yeah, missiles aren't even an ammo, it's just an object that you place down, and missile launchers are hit scan. They don't even have an actual projectile. It just blows up wherever you click, and if there's something between, it hits that.
If I may ask a question, Luxor mentioned OP accessories for factions like the Insurrectionists. What would count as an overpowered accessory or attachment?
Drastically reduced
Underbarrel RPG.
mischance.
Like the only thing
A quick fire on your battle rifle.
Oh shit.
all attached to
Underbarrel
the front.
Underbarrel grenade launcher.
It's all bayonets.
Underbarrel flamethrower.
Is one of the
Chainsaw, fuck
attachments
yeah.
is one of the attachments going to be an optional select fire for certain guns that had it in canon lore? Like I think the battle rifle could be select fire from burst to single shot.
The battle rifle's already selected along with most other.
Oh really?
Yes, it's just not. It's just a little bit hidden in the UI.
Oh okay.
Lets you empty your whole mag of assault or AS in 1 second. That seems like it would just be a mess and a waste of ammunition.
I was
You kill
actually
someone.
thinking about switching the DMR over to its cannon fire modes, which was, I believe, fully automatic and semi-automatic, which would probably help out with close quarters combat if you do decide to take a DMR.
Did you say DMR and fully automatic?
They
That's-
are canon fully automatic. Yeah.
That's a thing in lore.
Yeah,
It's a
in
horrific
lore they
thought.
are fully
Please,
automatic.
let's not do.
The
But
problem is they still
why?
have the 15 rounds or 14 if you're talking Halo 5. I don't know why they downed a round like that.
Because
The-
Halo 5 is a shit show.
The DMR
Honestly,
shoots 7.62. how powerful it is in game is really odd because it shoots the exact same round the AR does. So
In reality, it should just be a more accurate AR where you're trading the magazine size for accuracy. And the automatic function, if you ask me, just seems like a fuck that thing in particular setting for when someone's in your face more than
they don't have
practical.
stats for the DMR's automatic function. Like, there's no hard stats for it, but I'd assume it's somewhere between. What's the AR's current fire rate, by the way? You guys know?
I know for a
Fast-ish.
fact the insurrectionist one fires basically as fast as you can click.
It's one of
That's
the
a
faster
modified
ones.
one.
LMGs get higher.
Do you guys know, like, have a number ballpark?
What do you mean fire rate? Because it's got a few different fire modes.
I mean, when you go into full auto with the AR, how many rounds do you put
Well,
down in a click?
See, the problem is that all the quote-unquote full auto options are all burst fire. It's just different levels of burst.
That's true.
So for the assault rifle, you've got a 3-round burst or a short burst, which is 5, and the fire delay is null. So you fire as fast as possible. I think it's a rate of about 5 or 10 a second.
Okay,
Can we just get like
so
It's
maybe
Yeah,
have a
if-
fire delay of like 0.2 or 0.5 or so?
Well, the thing about the fire rate being null is that it does fire as fast as you can click, but the gun is also restricted in that it can only fire after the last round from the last burst is fired. So it actually has a fire delay in its own thing.
uh,
Go ahead.
honestly, I think most guns just need a mag dump setting.
I
No.
don't think so.
But yeah, that aside though, as far as guns go, the folks in the meeting hall bring up a good point. A lot of the assault rifles are just really kinda meh.
They
Like, it
don't
seems
actually,
like
they don't do less damage than the DMR. I think they do about the same, right?
oh no,
All
that's
I'm
not
saying-
damage wise though. It seems like they never actually connect to the target. And don't even get me started on the redhead stepchild that is the MA3.
The MA3 fucking rips and tears. I don't know what you. Come
In
on.
close combat, yes, but everywhere else, you're basically gonna hit everything but what you actually want to hit.
Yeah, like you gotta like close the gap and then get real close and then just fuck their shit up.
Yes, it sounds like a perfect place for an insurrectionist weapon. No accuracy at all.
The MA3 is actually the most accurate gun in the entire game. It has 0 accuracy, which means that it has 0 debuffs or buffs. The only difference is that its dispersion is the highest. I think it beats the fucking LMG with dispersion.
But yeah, though I actually have seen the MA3 miss point blank their target, which means that only way I can see that happening is that the MA3 rounds just have like a small rocket booster in the side, so as soon as they empty the barrel, they just shoot off to the right or to the left.
Aim center mass.
I mean, treat the MA3 like a shotgun and you're going to have less pain.
Yeah, right.
Well, speaking of
Um,
which, slugs are the best thing ever.
Magnetic grenade launcher.
See, now I can give you that for the MA37, like the defunct the older version of the assault rifle. Now that's garbage.
The thing that you have to take into account is that it isn't always the gun that is causing accuracy problems. Remember that mobs themselves also have accuracy debuffs on the limbs, and I believe just a base general chance to narrowly miss.
Oh yeah, that got recently bumped up with Exo's last balance changes. So we should
Oh yeah,
not
speaking
have-
about that.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go on. Sorry.
Well, yeah. So due to those changes, so we should not like the freaking supersonic Tavoans. That's no longer a meme. So there's that, and then the limb chances have been raised. So less hand giving.
Did they get an increase when I wasn't looking? Because they didn't seem that fast.
Yes, they did.
They did get
And then they
an
got
increase,
nerfed again.
and then they got nerfed again. Okay.
Reno, you might want to mute your mic when you're not talking, just because this is being recorded, and it sounds like a helicopter.
That's my bad. I thought I did. My apologies.
Anyway, what I was saying is, my suggestion for that aiming system, I think that some mobs should be immune to, or not immune, but slightly reduced to that. Like I'm mainly thinking Spartans or high-ranking elites, not the ones in first contact, higher than that, like zealots and shit. Just an idea, because I think that those kind of units would be trained enough to be able to hit arms and stuff, especially Spartans. Just an idea. I don't want ODSTs or commandos to have it because
They're trained, but they're not amazing. Beat everything
well,
and all.
don't get me wrong. I think they should have it if we're going straight from lore, but from gameplay, I don't think they should have it. So there you go. But no, I'm all for John Halo 117s to be able to, pistol whip you from 200 meters right in the hand. So
I mean, to be fair, TK, I probably wouldn't be able to function if I got shot in the dick. Just throwing that one out there.
That's fair.
Could anyone really?
yeah, TK, the solution to this is to play a female character. Okay, so there you go.
No, it can be worse.
Well, in game it isn't worse.
Like, to be honest, you guys should be dying when you get shot in the dick. To be fair,
I mean,
Everyone
you should be
should.
dying when you get shot in general.
I mean, yeah,
That's a
Fucking
fair
bullet.
point.
it's a bullet, but I mean, like, particularly difficult to survive.
Yeah, I mean, bullets bad. Don't know if this is a new thing for you guys. Bullets hurt. Bullets bad.
I mean, I always thought that they had those "do not point towards own face" on the barrel for a reason, but I mean, I never knew.
They have that because people are children and all need to be watched.
You gotta get the crayony to safe somehow.
I mean,
Tavo and
realistically speaking, whenever I was at basic training, I remember one drill sergeant told me if I can't hit them in a reliable way, shoot for their dicks, because your pelvis is the biggest bone in your body, and if you shoot that with a bullet, it basically explodes like a frag grenade inside of you, and you just get bone shrapnel all through your body, so it really fucks you up. And also, if you don't have a bone there to support your weight, you can't really use your legs.
what's the current hit chance on the proc
Jesus.
right now?
It's a bit. It's like, wasn't it 70% or something?
It
For
got
groin?
bumped up to 80.
So yeah, 80% for groin.
Miss chance or hit chance?
Hit chance. Wait, was it miss? Okay.
All right, yeah, okay. 80 sounds about right because you've got the chest there and then the legs, and it's like you're not likely to hit that.
Because I know when we first implemented the commandos, and like even with the LMGs, it's like they would get destroyed instantly because ODSTs could just like it immediately just hit them with a BR and their legs would just fly off.
It wasn't even
Well,
ODSTs, it was Marines. Just hit him in the legs and explodes.
Well, no, it's like we did an initial testing on the insurrection game mode, so it was just commandos versus ODSTs, and that was the results where the armor, like legging, wasn't. I think that was before we added armor stuff covering to make it cover the legs, but like, yeah, for a time, commandos were just getting their legs blown out.
Speaking about commandos again, are we intending to make them space proof? I heard someone say it was a bug. I don't know if it was actually intended as a feature. Just mentioning it here so that it is brought up.
Aren't we intending to get Marine space proof too, though? And everything.
Well, yeah, but commandos already have their suit actually in the game, so I suppose that's an easier task than someone spriting and implementing EVA marine gear.
Commandos will probably get a few different varieties of gear.
The weird part
and
about-
their end tier would be space proof, but their starting gear probably wouldn't.
Well, I wasn't
I
aware
don't know
of
about
that.
ODSTs.
TK.
Yeah, I was thinking that the Marine EVA gear has already been sprited. It just needs to be implemented and stuff.
I gotta say though, the odd part about the the commandos not being EVA capable is just that they were giving mag boot, so I don't know.
Make
So what's
commandos
really the
great again.
fun
God
in them?
damn it.
The thing about the mag boots, like that was like I even mentioned that like a long time ago. Across the board, like civilian, because some of the civilian ships already like have them like mapped, at least on the slow but steady. It's like mag boots are already there. Like they should be standard on any ship design. Like you should have mag boots.
Yeah.
They do have mag boots in Halo. There's no reason not to have them. That's a canon thing that they have.
Even if it's just for the simple fluff reason of being able to make repairs in case something gets horribly damaged.
It's for all EVA, but the other thing they have is small EVA thrusters that they can put on when they're doing space flights or spacewalks to repair
We
things.
could just use the Bay 12 jetbacks until somebody resprites one for that looks more Halo-ish. That's
The one that looks
for
Halo-ish is just a box.
some
Mike.
reason,
Yep.
for some reason, the current EVA suits delete boots for some reason. I don't know if that was patched or what, but
no, that it was not. Yeah, I just noticed like because before those EVA suits would like replace. I guess they would temporarily drop mag boots, but now they don't. They just eat your shoes and you don't get mag boots. I don't know what happened, but
Are the mag boots supposed to be deployed when you put the EVA suit on, or do you put them on separately?
No, it's like when you put on the suit, it automatically gives you mag boots.
Oh, you might
Well,
want to
they used to
separate like
anyway.
they do on all the different stations, because I think every other station uses separate mag boots. I think that might just be easier. So,
That was like an old. They used to, but I do know like with the current new like Spartan mag boots, like they automatically like slip over your shoes. So
right. Any ideas for what we're gonna make special for the whitelists for UNSC and insurrectionists, other than the commandos and stuff?
for now, we're probably just gonna work with the commander because it's like they are just been freshly implemented, so we're gonna like try to iron them
Honestly,
out first.
I mean, I don't really think that adding more whitelisted roles is priority, really. Like, is that it's just a smaller percentage of players who actually get to experience that. It's a lot of work. Like, we added the commandos because obviously the innies haven't had their equivalent for a long time. So we've got to flesh out the commandos first because, as I'm sure all of you are aware, there has been a lot of community turmoil over them from all factions. So that needs to be tweaked. I would say before we add any more whitelisted roles.
I mean, thoughts on that are more whitelisted ranks. Like, we're having issues with ranks. They in that little chart you sent, it actually shows a couple of mixed ranks, like specialist and corporal are in the same and stuff like that. So we could have
Yeah.
like the different rankings going up, and since we're only dealing with Marines, we just have to do a Marine one, and then a any one, which would be like, I don't know.
Yeah, because I know the system right now is like the basic Bay Torch ranking system thing.
Right, but I was just thinking that it might give more incentive for people to get into UNSC or insurrectionist whitelist to have higher ranks to be able to order privates around and stuff. When they listen, when they're not being just hubby trash.
personally, I don't like the whitelist systems to begin with because they breed this weird elitist system where people act like they're better than other people.
No, I agree 100% there, Deso. If I had it in my ideal situation, we wouldn't even have faction chats, and we'd have just tags for UNSC Covenant. There would be no secret chance for each faction, and everyone could apply for any whitelist roles. But I do think they should be whitelisted because they are giving powerful gear. Don't want to give grief as that, but I don't think. Whatever. This is going
So-
off traffic.
I mean, the only whitelist role that gives powerful gear is the Covey role in, I think, Commandos now, because you can't get into the ODST whitelist right now.
Well, yeah, but it is still a whitelisted role. We can't exclude it just because the applications are closed.
And keep in mind, like, the original intention for having in-round commandos and ODSTs were just for the whitelisted people. We still had like other alternatives for people to join, even if they weren't whitelisted. So it wasn't like, you don't need to apply to the UNSC to even play it as an ODST. So there's like other opportunities to do that, such as ERT or just an insurrection game mode or anything else.
Yeah, speaking of ERT, which is since we have the only STs for that now. This is a part of why I think we shouldn't get the Prowler back for the ODSTs. That's been a lot of traction. I think that should be entirely reserved for ERT. I don't know. There's been a lot of arguing over that one, but I'm not going to get deep into it. I just think the ERT should get their own ship, and that's it.
Yeah, that was the plan. Like, the commandos, like, they were supposed to just be placed on the Thorn, and that other ship would have been just used for the URF equivalent for ERT. But at the time, EXO just like compressed the map to one. They were like, well, I already did all the work. And I'm like, well, fuck, I guess so. Just test the waters, see how it went. And clearly, people weren't liking that.
I mean, personally, I'm okay with them getting their own ship because they should have more utility rather than like more, I guess, power weapons, so to speak. But again, it's a community matter, so.
The way I see it, the commandos were meant to be the Swiss Army knife to the ODST's K-bar, if that makes sense.
No, I get that, Reno.
My opinion is that they should. I kind of always agreed with James about ODST just being locked behind ERT, and so UFC could just be ERT.
I mean, personally, going on the ERT route, I think ODSTs are fine for standard gameplay, and same with the UFC. I think I'd rather add like Spartans to ERT. That I don't really know what the insurrectionist equivalent would be. I know that we
There
could
isn't
add
one.
Covenant. Yeah,
Some
exactly.
people throw around the idea of defector Spartan 1s or 2s, which is an option we could play with, but
They wouldn't be super low friendly, but
all right. That's not so much the concern. It's more of a balancing concern because when we talk about adding new roles and all this kind of stuff, for me, I have concerns over the number of players and whether we have the players to support a wide diversity of roles. One thing I kind of prefer doing instead is adding new roles when there's specific content for those roles, but otherwise having more variability and more replayability for existing. So things like civilians, a lot of variety, a lot of things they can.
We have a lot of roles for our average of like 15 to 20 players on average. Maybe we could cut back on the roles amount right now because I don't think most players in the Covey faction play a lot of the roles that are the Covey roles just because there's so many and not many Covey players actually play that often.
Touching on going on in the chat now, I can honestly count very few times where I've seen that the Bertels actually in full-on combat got fucked over the Thorn. If you have people manning the Bertels properly, there is no way that Thorn will beat it in a straight-up fight. So, if I'm perfectly honest, if the Bertels gets fucked to the point where you seriously can't even spawn and get, say, an emergency evac out, yeah, and also it should have a combat bridge in the Bertels, but that's a different point.
Yeah, see, the combat bridge, that was a failure on the mappers' part when they made that map. Because, like, the actual frigate on Gymnast, like, that is a proper, like, well, I wouldn't say properly done UNSC ship. There's the main bridge, and then there's a battle bridge for those cases for when the bridge gets fucked up.
I think you mean that was a
The
failure on
UNSC
the
Battle
mapper's
Bridge
part.
too. Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's what I was saying. The amount of times the Thorn gets fucked up compared to the Bertels is ridiculous. You forget that the Thorn is much weaker than Bertels, and yet it does seem to be the bridge always does seem to be the first thing that's taken out. But
Yeah, the Thorn, I've seen some couple of fights, like ship v ship combats with the Thorn. It's like it really depends on your crew, because like if the insurrectionists have a competent crew, like they can take on the Covenant if they wanted to, like they can hold their own.
well, again, that's all on the players. Like I argue that a good Covenant team on the Vindictive Infraction, that's impossible to beat, because you get someone watching the shields and one on each, helm and weapons. They literally run away, cloak somewhere as soon as their shields drop to a percentage. Can't be beaten. But with the Thorin and stuff, like they don't have enough weapons in comparison to the Bertels. It's not. I don't. This is why I think it's fine for the UAFC to get their own ship. It's not like it's an armed ship.
I think I should point out that whenever you go to spawn into a role and the place where you're going to spawn in is spaced, the game tells you that the environment is dangerous, and a little pop-up says yes or no. Would you like to spawn where there's fucking space? So
Yeah.
But then again, it might just be a decent atmosphere just inside that little spawn bug, and the second you walk outside, you're met with a face full of voids. So
Maybe
Plus-
make it a range around where you spawn of like a couple of squares, so that way it's easier, so it detects more space.
that is handled in the base vanilla code for spawning in. It checks the specific landmark tile for the atmosphere, and if there's any change whatsoever. Like I've seen places where it's like 2 points of pressure too low because it got spaced at one point, but then it got filled back up with oxygen and the game was still freaking out and telling you it was dangerous. So it's literally just that one tile where the person spawns in at.
Yeah, going back to the ships being fucked to spawn point. So yeah, it's bad when you fuck a faction spawn point, but bear in mind both the UNSC and, well, technically the UNSC side, i.e. Oni base, and for the innies, the asteroid, it's not like you can't spawn in as that faction. Like you can play other roles that are quote unquote aligned. So just because you can't spawn in as an ODST because it happened to get blown up, if I'm honest, it's kind of rare. I guess I said Bertels usually wins fights. You can still play different roles.
speaking of the asteroid base, there's something I think needs to be kind of encouraged more among insurrectionist players, which is the Thorn has its major faults when it comes to combat. So how come more Thorn pilots don't lead them back to the asteroid base to get smacked in the face by that Mac cannon?
Exactly, like it's all part of it. You need to play smarter, and not ask for the game to be easier on your side, so to speak. That's my general opinion on it.
Yeah, a lot of the situations can be handled if like y'all use strategy and actually work together instead of like lone wolfing it.
But my player's name is Darkstar. He doesn't know how to be friends with people or use teamwork.
Yeah, he's a lone wolf. Absolute.
You can attack the asteroid base, and if there's like a friendly NPC ship and it happens to be armed with a Mac, you can sick it on the base, and it will. It'll definitely make sure there's nothing left. 'Cause NPC ships are nothing to fuck with.
Oh yeah. NPC ships, when we spawn them with multiple Mac cannons that have no delay, that's a very fun thing to watch. So when you're complaining about how overpowered ships are, we'll just spawn a couple of those. Don't worry. Balanced.
I know we said no memeing, but this is relevant. Sorry.
What?
So from what I've seen, the Covenant is significantly more powerful than the other factions whenever they're doing it right.
Yes. I mean,
but
any
most of the time
faction.
they're not. I mean, anytime a faction is doing it right, but if all the factions were doing it right at the same time, the covenants have the advantage.
Yes, they do. I agree.
Right, and that's the
which
way it
is
should
what
be.
it should be. Yeah.
Actually wouldn't say that. I've seen the Birtles and the Thorn on multiple occasions team up and just slap around the fucking vindictive infraction.
But
like
exactly, they have to team up to do it. That's the
Yeah,
point.
and that's the point. To be honest, the way it is in lore is that you should have to have 4 or 5 ships to defeat one. What are we, a Corvette?
I
The
mean,
thing
it's a
is
small
massive.
Corvette.
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
On the scale of Covenant ships, it is a small one.
Yeah, but the
Right.
thing has shields and
Oh,
is
yeah.
just better than everything. In actual lore, it would take every 10 UNSC ships, if they had to go through shields, to take down like a cruiser or battle cruiser.
Like Covenant ships are dumb, overpowered in lore, which is fine because of their shields. But in gameplay, I think it's fine where they're at the level that they have to team up to. If they're competent crews, they have to team up to fight them.
Right,
So
and
I
it's like
agree with that.
it's like not every round is the Covenant ship even relatively active compared to the others. I don't think there's as many Covenant players that get on and play Covenant as the other factions.
I mean, if we're talking canon, basically just take Halo 2, put it on Legendary, and then ramp it up another 2 difficulties, and that's lore.
Well, not entirely, because in Halo 2, Legendary, for whatever goddamn reason, you, as John Halo, are the weakest fucking thing that exists. Let's just not get into Halo 2 Legendary.
In comparison to the other games, using all the in-game systems, the Halo 2 shields were the worst in Halo lore for some reason. I don't know why.
But no, I don't think we should always be strict 100% lore for gameplay things. Like, for an example, I think it said somewhere that the first generation shields that we used on Riona, they would only take 3 standard plasma pistol shots before being drained entirely, obviously to regenerate. So that kind of shit, not necessary for gameplay because you need more than that for gameplay. But
I mean, if you read through some of the books, fucking John Halo in one of the books, I think it's The Flood, fucking just gets smacked with a goddamn wrench by a flood form, and his shields drop, and then he gets fucking almost infected by the flood. And also in the same book,
Katana has to fucking save him.
also in the same book,
I was gonna say that the people in the meeting hall actually bring up another good point. How come the Birtles, Thorn, and a lot of the other bases still have 4-on tanks?
That's just like leftover from the old fucking fuel system we had. A mapper hasn't removed them. So basically they're just sitting there just to add as like extra explosive power.
Well, these are nice goals
use them
actually.
as bombs, by all means.
These are nice goals for after Deso does his little mapping tutorial. Get someone to map a battle bridge, get rid of all the Phoron canisters.
Why get rid of them?
Couple of things to do. Well, for the insurrectionists, but UNSC wouldn't lower themselves to that level.
Yeah, they would.
I
You
mean,
never know when you need a good bomb.
And I'm also saying, like, since this, like, I'm not opposed to anything off of Halo fan canon because we could also use some content from there because, you know.
I mean, ultimately, the canon for our server is what we make it.
Are you sure you want to dive into the fan canon? That's a scary place.
Yeah, there's some wild stuff in the Halo fan canon. There's some pretty wild stuff.
Well, obviously, you guys are gonna vet it before we even try to push it in. Like,
quote
It's
unquote
a
fan
whole
canon.
huge new stories, huge new factions. There's hundreds of years worth of shit.
Yeah.
so has everyone
So we can use from the main little bit and also dip in theirs to get our own little unique thing.
So after the Ackley's game mode is done, which probably won't happen till next year at this rate, a lot of shit is going to be changed and reworked and overhauled, and I plan on doing a lot of balancing and fixing. I'm probably going to make entirely new ships for everybody because I don't like the current ships whatsoever, like in the slightest. I think they're poorly made and there's a lot of problems with them.
I'm bad at making the outer designs. Give me a shell and I can work on the inner hull and stuff like that too.
Well, the best part about a ship is, and it's the thing that I'm working off with the Ackley's, is that you don't even really need an outer design because ships, people are just going to be on the inside. Like, nobody's going to go outside of the fucking ship and walk along the outside and be like, oh, this doesn't make sense because this. Like, nobody's going to fucking space themselves to do
Well,
that.
now that you've said that,
I beg to differ. They'll do it anyway.
I know, like on the Birtles, it's like I'm guessing. I guess once we get to the overmap rework, we could probably start seeing that EVA boarding combat again. Like, because I know on the bridge, it's like that whole little top area. There's like a lot where Eddies could just like breach and just walk all the way up to the bridge and just shoot out the glass. Just
That's
space
kind
the
of
bridge.
that's kind of one of the issues that UNSC ships had, is that a lot of the UNSC crew would stay on the main bridge, and it's like, what are you doing? Go into the battle bridge. They have a secondary crew in the battle bridge usually.
That's another little issue. Fucking goddamn. That's another little issue I've noticed though, is that the Birtles still. Just shut up. I'm dumb. Okay. The Birtles lacks drop turfs.
Wait, what?
The Birtles does not have drop turfs for drop pods.
Oh, right. That's like a mapping issue.
Again, probably going to be fixed whenever we redo the maps.
Praise Jesus.
All right.
'Cause I know, like in insurrection mode, like the drop pods don't work.
It's fine.
Yeah, right. Working as intended. So hunters and stuff. What do we plan on doing about those?
Well,
Where you need sprites.
Yeah, from what I've seen literally just now on the GitHub, what we want is a crouched hunter sprite, and what I heard from discussions earlier, Kale, if I'm wrong, correct me. You want like the hunters can only fire when they're in the crouch state, and therefore gives Marines and stuff the chance to get behind them, which is their weak spot. And I've also kind of made the Spartan laser with the intention of making that a direct counter to hunters and heavy vehicles, but don't consider that, as I said, because it'll probably end up trash anyway.
I plan on giving a Luxor full overview of the hunter respriting. They're gonna have Tiggle biddies, and I'm gonna pay him about $20 to do it. I know it's kind of cheap for Tiggle biddies, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. He already made the sprites. He already made
He'll
the
also
sprites.
get unbanned. He'll also get unbanned. So that's a trade-off, right?
Just regarding hunters
this is
for their
this is
stuff.
what we need to do. We need to keep unbanning Alexa in exchange for sprites, and then ban him again for no reason. This is how we got our sprites.
He earns it. Man.
You really shouldn't say that, man.
He earns it. He earns
was
it
a
every
joke.
single time.
I was a joke, Alexa. I'm sorry.
Anyway, continue. What were you saying, Kale?
So with hunter balance, the way you fight them in game is you unload a shitload of firepower at them, and it has to be either lots of a hailstorm of low damage shots, in which case a few will sneak through the armor, or you have to have an AoE weapon, which will get around the armor, or if you have a high damage, high precision, low fire rate weapon, you have to get it exactly into the weak points. So for a weapon like a Spartan laser, that would not be ideal. It's not intended to fight hunters. To fight hunters, you need machine guns or rocket launchers, or else get behind them and shotgun them in the rear.
Counter argument to that.
Yep.
The Spartan lasers actually do kill effectively hunters, at least in Halo 3. I remember when you aim for the chest. I think it was like 2 or 3 shots would down a hunter in the chest, something like that. It might be Halo 3 ODST.
I'd rather avoid one-hit kill weapons, and I know the SRS is that to an extent, but the SRS does have some downsides. So for the hunter, I don't want it to be a case of, it's a hunter, let's get the Spartan laser and just kill one shot and save the Spartan laser.
Well, like I said, it was like 3 shots.
Well, speaking about the Spartan laser again, currently it will one-hit kill everything, literally, because it is insanely strong. But it does have a charge, so... and obviously, I kind of intend it to only be used either for admin spawn or for Operation Red Flag, as a direct counter to the hunters that can spawn. But as I said, I'm just doing it. I don't
give it
know
a
about
very
balance.
limited amount of ammunition, and it can't be.
Well, I've so far it recharges like very slowly, but it recharges because like the Covenant weapons recharge, even though they kind of.
Oh, that's disabled.
Covenant weapons recharging is disabled.
That's right.
Or is that disabled now? Because they still thought they still did.
Oh, they still do it? Okay, I thought
Yeah.
I should be disabled.
Double check. But
What I'm actually planning to add Hunter Covenant plasma weapons. Either they need to have a way to either be manually recharged like laser guns in Space Station 13, or a way to actually get. That was always my intent all along, and they were given recharge initially because there was no way to get new Covenant weapons. There was no way to resupply.
Well,
right,
yeah, I'd imagine that we want to do with that then is either, as you said, just have on the Covenant ship like energy recharges or something.
Yep,
like they do with
that's
the
what-
energy. Maybe we could just take the current sprites for the rechargers right now until you can get one sprited up. The the laser weapon rechargers that lay around.
We've got some fantastic sprites for various crates and things. None of them were specifically for a weapon, a Covenant weapon rack, but we do have a crate and a comms console, which could be quite easily repurposed.
In the
for-
games, the crate that you can pick up weapons from, like from Halo 2 and beyond, where they are like hanging on the weapon, they're hanging in the crate.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
know
I'm
what you're
talking
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
those,
charger.
I think were chargers. We could
Yep.
just use the crates we have right now, put a little grate on the inside, and say they're rechargers. Make it glow a little bit of purple. Like,
Yeah, that's exactly what.
oh, okay.
Cool.
Make it
Yeah.
glow a little bit.
So that'll be a sprite project if anyone wants to. It's not on GitHub, but actually no, it is on GitHub. Hang on, let me find the.
That's just how all Covenant technology works, isn't it? Just the power of purple.
Yeah. There's a lore reason for it. The purple stuff is supposed to be a protector of against sun rays or something like that. Like particularly good at it.
Speaking of the GitHub, go and trash my PR about Spartan lasers, please. I need people to trash it because I have no idea what I'm doing. That's all.
So engineers, Huragok, whatever you want to call them. What's their current role for
Currently,
Covenant?
they do. Well, currently they do absolutely
ERP.
nothing.
Maybe
Currently, they are simple mobs that do nothing.
can't you play as them right now?
Well, you can if an admin puts you in them.
Oh, okay.
It happens sometimes, but they literally can't do anything.
I was just saying, just like a reskin maintenance drone and just be done with it.
I mean,
So-
what I was thinking is basically a reskinned Xeno that can't attack and will shit out like Covenant walls and stuff instead of high resins or
I think
whatever.
27 is the beam rifle.
Yeah, it is.
So I had an idea for that. The engineers were in lore supposed to make electronics better and stuff, right? Make it where they could increase the shield recharge rate of the Covenant ship or increase the thruster rate or something like that. Whenever they go over to it and start working on it, air quotes, aka they kind of like mount it or whatever, like a
I
vehicle.
mean, that's a good idea. However, bear in mind, as we were talking about earlier, the Covenant ship is strong enough already. Like, doesn't necessarily need.
Obviously, if there's someone sitting there literally just giving a boost to it, that means there's less people manning the ship.
Well, yeah, but an engineer wouldn't be doing it anyway. He wouldn't be flying the ship anyway.
No, he wouldn't.
wouldn't.
He would be running. He would be sitting on a booster thing. He can't fly the ship, right?
Just my-
Speaking of adding new deadly toys, I know Erdy was thinking about once his computer gets fixed, because I know we have the sprites for the glassing beam cannon, so that's going to be a fun.
Oh yes.
I don't think the Corvette had a glassing cannon.
Shush.
I don't
This is
think it
for
actually
future
had.
implementation.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But Corvettes, the UNSC ship don't have ODST platoons, so yeah, hand waving them.
The
I think-
insurrection should have access to glassing cannons.
Please
I
do not
think-
give the Covenant glassing abilities. No, yes, please give the Covenant glassing abilities.
I want to burn your world.
Yeah, right.
Destroy everything.
The
Yeah, The nuke
So
is for
everyone
ships.
knows what Shiva nukes are, right? The shooting ones that you can shoot at things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any plans to make a missile version that shoots at enemies that you can fire in space from the main ship?
Well, that would
including
be
that?
interesting. Yep, give the UNSC a Shiva as well as a Mac.
I feel like
The
that's
Shiva
going to
would
be
be,
like
like, one or
addressed in
two
the overmap arc. That's like that type of thing.
I mean, like, give them like one or two of them, and that's all they can
What
use.
I think would be interesting, actually, is having a Shiva platform in orbit of some planet that is owned by no one. So basically, it turns into a fight over it.
Oh, good lord! I would, even though this is not going to happen, I would love that to be an orbital Mac platform somewhere. Fucking hell!
We have a sprite for orbital, like the SMAC, and a map somewhere in the code, but that was like being safe for the overmap thing when we redo how planets and all that work.
I mean, that
And
would be an
I
interesting.
see like
Sorry.
what Reno. I'm sorry, going on like Reno said, going to capture a point like that. That seems like that would just be part of an objective in a combat-based game mode where like the factions would have to go to point A to B and C.
I mean, shit. Sorry, go on.
We could do it similarly to the way CM does contact stuff, where there's a period of deploy getting ready and stuff.
Yep.
And then they have to fight over it, and they can't like Mac it or anything.
What I would say is that to make glassing beams more balanced, they would obviously have a huge charge time. During the charge time, their shield should be down, and after they fire it, they can't turn on their engines or something. So, honestly, if we add things like orbital max, or obviously even if we added like obviously on different game modes, different maps, having more Mac cannons like on Geminus on the surface, like these are all huge counters to the glassing beam, so it wouldn't be dumb overpowered. Covenant would actually have to disable key points before they're able to full on glass it.
Well, that thing would have to have an insane power draw. It would have to.
Yeah.
We could also note it has been proven time and time again in every Halo lore you can think of that the Covenant shields do not stop an individual floating into them. So maybe make it where the shields are like a
no, they
space
did.
away.
They did. One of the Halo Fall of Reach novel specifically mentions the Spartans go to board a Covenant ship. They have to wait for the pulse turret to fire and the shield to open for the pulse turret to fire before they can enter the shield. I'm pretty sure that's still canon.
I don't know because I've seen a lot of lore. Although so I know there's the mission where Master Chief loses, I think, either one of or most. No,
Operation Red Flag.
And they board a ship.
Operation Red Flag never actually went on. Actually, never got completed, did it? Because the reach happened. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, Operation Red Flag, I don't think didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
Oh wait, I'm thinking of a different one. It was like because I know it was like a group of Spartans went to go save Dr. Holly or some shit.
Yeah, there was like I think one of it was God, I can't remember the name. It was one of the Spartans that weren't with Master Chief's group. Master Chief was commanding the Spartans at the time, but it was not. Was it Red Team or Blue Team or whatever?
What planet are you thinking of?
It's not on a planet. They had snuck up on a Covenant ship, and they went in using EVA boosters and unspotted.
I'm not sure.
You're probably thinking of that mission from the Fall of Reach, where the Spartans have just equipped the Mjolnir, and that Covenant Corvette comes in, and so they give a combat test by boarding the Covenant Corvette with the prototype Mjolnirs.
I think.
So when are we going to make it so Max?
I know it was animated.
Shields?
I know it was an animated one. It wasn't. I don't think it was Halo Legends. No, it was Halo Legends.
It was Halo Legends. It was the package.
Yeah, that one. Was it the package?
Yeah,
the package.
Yeah.
I'm 99% sure.
Really badly done.
99% sure that John Halo was on the package mission.
He was. He
So
was the
there you
leader
go.
of that mission. He wasn't? I thought he was the
Yeah,
leader.
he was.
He was? Yeah, he was the leader of that mission, I thought.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
someone
it
died on it.
was-
It wasn't Red Team, though. It was another team, and he was just leading them at the time. I think he was lower ranked than some of the other people on the team, and they were like, okay.
I mean, lore-wise, you've got like Fred, for an example, who's actually a higher rank than Chief technically, but everyone still listens to Chief because John Halo. So
Because Chief isn't an idiot.
All right. Well, okay. Moving on. So
Who's
yeah,
this
the
chief
server
we keep
uptime,
talking
guys.
about?
It's like I know server pop is kind of an issue, so it's like I know if we try to stay up on the weekend, we would have to compete with like the other servers that are also up on the weekend. So I'm thinking we could just probably just stay up during the week and just take a break during the weekends,
I
just
didn't disagree
temporarily.
with this.
Just because for some reason I noticed like it usually on a Monday, that's when we end up like all these people show up out of nowhere.
That's because you're down on the weekends. There's a lot of people who want to play on
Yeah.
the weekends. They get off of work and are able to play, and then you guys shut down for the
I
weekend.
mean, I'm gonna heavily disagree with that just on the basis of time zone. Like anyone on GMTs or anyone in like future around this time zone is going to be fucked by that because obviously US time is going to be where the most pop is, and that's going to be like 3 a.m. Like for example, it's 1 a.m. for me now. I can't consistently stay up at 1 a.m. if I have to go to fucking college, or whatever. And I'm sure other people have the problem. So having it on the weekend allows us to have like a fucking good couple of nights where we don't have to worry about doing anything. So I really think that would be negative, but that's your call.
An important note was this morning specifically. It was like 8 a.m. It's 8 p.m. now. It's been like 12 hours. People were complaining in chat that the server wasn't up and that they wanted to play because it was the weekend.
Yeah, like I would have played, but I just focused on my Spartan laser instead. So, I mean, as I said, it's James. James is the host. If he doesn't want to host it all the time, that's your choice, James. I just think it would be.
You're paying for a server box, right? Isn't it like you pay monthly and then you get to use it however much you want?
No, it's like I have to pay the bill regardless if it's up or not.
Yeah, so just keep it up all the time. Because you're paying the bill anyway.
That's
I mean, if it's low
generally
pop,
what we do.
yeah. I mean, I can see why it was down now because you said you were trying to explore a new box option, so that's fine, obviously. And also, you got this meeting, so I guess if we had the server was up, it might have conflicting.
People might not be paying attention and stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
it's like each time, like we go through the cycle of people saying why the server isn't up, and then we put it up when they want on the weekends, and then no one plays, and then just oof in chat, repeat.
Well,
I
to
know
be
what you
fair,
mean.
yeah, I know what you mean. It just happens. It's just time zones. People are kind of random, but I always get on when I get a chance. So
I do notice that that people are on in the afternoons more. In the mornings, there's like nobody on ever except for like one or two people doing whatever they're doing.
yeah, like the players who aren't going to be playing on the weekend, the hubbies, so to speak, like are they really the people we should be mainly concerned about? Obviously, we want more pop, but ultimately, we should still try and put the community that we have first.
I know that we've been competitive with the other servers before. We've had upwards, 30, 40 people before. I think we haven't hit 70, have we?
Yeah, no, the most we ever had was like 72.
Yeah, we've hit 70. Yeah, shoot.
Wasn't that back on the cruiser map?
No, that was like
That wasn't that long
on
ago.
Frigate. Yeah, no, that was like on the frigate, so it was like on Gymnast.
It wasn't that long ago though.
That's because we had new stuff now. Because it's like, and then another thing, it's like I'd rather have like more content ready to go so people aren't like just immediately bored because it does get tedious after a while. Because I think that's another thing because it's like.
Oh yeah.
People get on, it's always the same thing. And the issue of not being able to vote for the other game modes is kind of hindering. Because it's like once we get the map switcher thing, because we really need to do that, so I don't have to manually do that. I feel like that would ail a lot of issues so people can choose between the high pop and low pop game modes themselves.
You could set it up where it's a admin thing to click and they just click a button and it sets it up.
Well, a vote would essentially do the same thing as well. I guess either after a round ends, as in like the post-round screen, probably would be the best point to add a vote, maybe, or in the lobby. Because if you do it
at
in
the
the post
beginning in
round
the
screen,
lobby.
but if you do it in the
Definitely
post round,
lobby.
then before the server actually boots, then you get the map up. Because then you technically have to 2 sort of boot times. I'm not sure exactly how the map switching code works, but
It
I don't know.
doesn't.
Well, there you go then.
It's, we've got to do well. We have none. We've got to do some weird stuff because to switch a map, we actually need to recompile. Due to technical reasons, we can't have all of the maps loaded onto the server at any one time. We could try, but there's just not the capacity and beyond. So we've got to write a script to recompile, to bring down to the server, to recompile it, and then to relaunch it again, which is possible, but it's not something I've done before.
Maybe look up how people have done it in the past, because it's probably been an issue with other types of servers similar to this.
Possibly. To my knowledge, no.
Yeah, but yeah, I was just saying because I know we discussed it before. It's like possibly having like a bunch of pre-compiled like DMBs ready, and so at the end of the round, get like Cesaro or something to make a vote in this pool and just pick from that on the recompile, something like that. I don't know.
I think as a stopgap until we can get around to actually testing such a drastic change, because that sounds like it is a bigger change than it needs to be. A little admin verb to start a vote for people just to click, so that way an admin can just hop on, click a button, and then leave.
That's still doesn't change the fact that I would have to manually take down the server and change the thing to another game mode.
You're the only one who can do it?
Well, anybody that has access to the box.
Oh.
Well, I mean, maybe, I don't know who has access to the box. I'd assume you and Quam for one. I guess you could also give it to Deso and Max. I don't know. More people with access to the box. I don't know how difficult that is for you, but it's a
I
start.
don't really like the idea of giving more access to the box.
I mean, yeah, okay, that's fine.
So giving someone the ability to relaunch the server also gives them the ability to update the code and rewrite it. So we'll always have a backup, so that's not a problem. It is still a security concern.
Oh yeah, of course. That's why I said only like head admins as well.
So the devs that have access are myself, EXO, and Block. So we're also all able to restart and update if we need to. We can also set up private test servers or public test servers running alongside the main.
I think the other test server is still up. Like it hasn't gone down unless you took it down.
Oh, good. I haven't been using it.
Exposed.
An idea, maybe set it up so that way before you guys have the server start up every day or something like that, you have a vote proposed by Cicero in Discord for, how people are feeling or whatever, and they'll vote for what that day will be the game mode. It'd be like a daily game mode, and then basically make it a rule where they can't have the same game mode twice in a row or something like that, so that way we're not having the same game mode every day.
Yeah, because I know I know I had a day where I just left it on stranded, and people did not like that after the first couple of rounds. So depending on the game mode, it's like we can't force people just to play one single game mode a day. It's gonna have to be like round by round basis.
Yeah, definitely. Because stranded is an example. For me personally, insurrection, I can't handle more than a couple of rounds of that. Stranded, all of that. I mean, I love Operation Red Flag personally, but I know some people don't like it. So that's another, all of them really. People have their different opinions, and having a whole day is just going to hurt the pot because you'll get someone who doesn't like, Insurrection or Operation Red Flag. Yeah, they just won't play. So it'll just ruin it for everyone. But people are more likely to play game modes that they don't like, quote unquote, if they know, it's only one round, then afterwards I'll play something else, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think James understands. So back to where we had started, which is funny, we went all the way off topic like that. The other Covey races, Tavoans, they haven't had very many changes other than stat changes, right?
I don't think so. I think they're fine right now. The other races that we need to add, I believe, would be brutes, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's about it. Brutes and then engineers.
And the drones, because right now they're just simple mobs. Because I know we talked about having the drones be playable by anybody. Because like at the moment, the unwhitelisted, like anybody can play them across the board, would be Ungoy, the base Kid Yar, and drones. Because like they're all cannon fodder, so they don't really add much.
A thought
Yeah.
is making the drones, making it where you can deploy the drones, like just drop them at a planet and they'll just kind of run amok till they're all dead.
That would be interesting. I think if you could like from the ship deploy the drones at an area.
That way, whenever there's like 5 people in the Covenant, they have like an entire squad of drones that they can deploy to distract, fight, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what they were for. Which is exactly what they were for, but it's like otherwise the drones are just sitting on the ship. I don't know if they aggro.
They only aggro what's retaliated. So it's like I've seen it happen where a grunt would slap a bug, like one of the drones, and then to get like swarmed by a hive and end up dead.
The thing is that's extremely lore accurate.
No, I saw it happen. Like a deacon walked in there talking about the great journey, slapped them all, and then they fucking murdered him.
Yeah, yeah, they don't give a shit, man.
Accurate.
Yeah, they don't have a friend or foe thing. So maybe make it where they can detect enemies. And
I would generally say that like elites would be the only ones that they probably wouldn't. Well, and let go though. Maybe brutes that they wouldn't fuck with if they hit.
Huh?
But go on.
Yeah, because it's like I know, because it's like we have issues because as long as you don't hit them, like they'll ignore you. Because I've seen it where insurrectionists have boarded the ship, walked past the drones, and just got on a ghost and started flying on.
Yeah, taking the ghost and then using that.
So that'll require map changes, which is why I've been putting it off.
Also, speaking about now that we've just mentioned innies hopping on ghosts, since we've moved forward in the timeline, I know that we said we were going to propose the new ROE changes at one point in the meeting. I don't know when we're getting around to that, but are we going to have it so that innies and UNSC, since we have time skipped a bit, are they authorized to use Covenant weaponry if they get it?
An important note about
we give them the clumsy trait.
Yeah, right. An important note about all Covenant weaponry and vehicles is that humans didn't know how to use the vehicles at all. The vehicles are drastically different from human vehicles. The reason why they can use them in the games and stuff like that is because they're specifically trained, and it's very late in the war. ODSTs are trained how to use ghosts and so on and so forth, and all the Covenant weapons were mildly understood, and that's very mildly too. They still don't understand the weaponry. They don't know how it works, which is weird because now they're teamed up with this Sangheili, but
I mean, yeah, I would perfectly be fine with saying like only like special ops quote unquote units / ERT units being authorized OOC to use them, and no one can use their vehicles. I think that's fine.
Yeah, but that's basically going to have to come down to like the whole ROE discussion is going to be a separate little meeting.
Yeah.
With the lore masters and such, we'll be discussing that, setting up the new groundwork for the post first contact ROEs and stuff. So about that, how would y'all feel about doing the first contact canon event on no, probably not Christmas, but sometime soon, like on a holiday where everybody's off. Like,
I mean, yeah,
I'll be off I'll be off until January 8th or something like 7th. That's when classes start.
No, not next year, Alexa. Before then, because I'm guessing for me, I guess closest. Well, I suppose this is count close to Christmas because then people who have work are more likely to have time off. I guess. I mean, I got next week is my last week at college until I'm done until January. So
yeah, we'll set something up. We'll probably do it like around like Christmas time, like have the canon event. So then we'll move
I mean,
on. from
Boxing Day might be
that. Okay.
the fabled
Can we
G
not?
spot for the fucking plasma. Amazing. Quality chat. Quality chat.
I mean, you gotta also understand holding it and making sure you're not shooting yourself by accident. They have a surprising amount of recoil.
Yeah, like the
I
fucking
don't know
public weapons
why.
are huge.
They shoot lasers and plasma blobs. I don't know why they have recoil.
Yeah, like the fucking plasma
the
rifle
only-
is huge.
They're pretty big. They're about the size of a human torso.
Yeah.
I mean,
Literally.
I couldn't really imagine shooting yourself with one on accident, just because I mean, the front half of it looks like a taser. To be honest here.
What would happen is you would shoot a plasma bolt and then it would launch out of your hands. That's exactly
Well,
what would happen
with
in
recoil.
real life.
Unless you're a John Halo.
Yeah, that's the kind of recoil we're talking about on these guns. The only gun I could see realistically actually having recoil is the carbine, and I think that's it. The carbine, the needlers, because they actually shoot a projectile.
Fuel rods.
Yeah, fuel rods. But it's like these things are shooting plasma, and then there's the laser rifles that have a stupid amount of recoil for no reason.
I mean, like, I
Stupid.
think the Spartan laser technically has recoil. Not in the looks like it does in gameplay.
They make it have a recoil as well. It looks cool, it looks nice, but they
Yeah.
don't actually have recoil. Because it's a laser. You might have to let go of it because it got really fucking hot, but I mean,
Also,
that's
speaking
understandable.
again about the Spartan laser, what kind of a scope do people want on it? Because so far it's got sort of like a fucking BR scope, but considering how strong it is, I'm very reluctant to give it like a SRS scope, which I could
Don't
do.
give it a scope. Don't give it a scope.
I mean, it has like a BR one, which is like nothing, zoom wise.
Like in the actual games, it didn't have it had like a one-time zoom scope.
Yeah.
Which isn't even BR close.
Well,
It's
some
like,
of them were like 1.25. I can't remember which games.
yeah, it was not a very large scope for them.
Still, I am considering this for gameplay because in gameplay you can see way further. It's in like Halo gameplay, you can see and shoot way further than and in Spaceman's. So that is why I considered it, mainly on the basis that if it is an anti-vehicle, an anti-heavy unit thing, if you get that close to the heavy unit, you're just gonna get fucked anyway. Especially since it does have a charge.
Right. Which it's supposed to have like, what is it, a 3-second charge or something?
It's just under 3 seconds. Though currently the charge time is exactly 3 seconds.
That's funny because I think the Canon one is actually about 3 seconds.
Well, yeah, that's what I based it on.
All right, well.
Alrighty, guys, let's see. It's been touch bases because I know we gotta start closing this up a little bit. So, any more questions or concerns from anybody? Like this is the time where we want to like take some feedback from you guys. Like, like what ideas you want to see in the server. Like, what are y'all looking forward to?
I'm still advocating for the Tavoan to get a jump ability, specifically the skirmishers.
Alexa would like to see the server.
Okay.
I personally am curious about whether or not the ODST are going to get their Prowler back or whatever the hell they had, because I've heard rumors of that, but nothing concrete.
The person that was working on that is no longer here, so don't even worry about it.
So that is not happening. Confirmed.
No.
What happened, James? Did he get secret policed?
Yeah, sure, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
Secret police discussion is not for this.
Oh boy, I would love to talk about it.
Classified, redacted.
But
Let's just say,
claimed by Oni.
let's just say Desolane happened and leave it at that.
Another one, Spec Ops. Maybe make that the Covenant ERT.
Oh yeah, I would love that. Definitely. Zealots.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that.
Because
later on,
I don't think people play as them very often, if at all.
Oh no, like them. I've only ever seen Spec Ops or Zealots, obviously in Operation Red Flag. So definitely, that'd be awesome. Though obviously their ship would have to be unshielded, 100%.
unshielded but invisible, or
Yeah.
not have
Invisible while moving as well.
yeah, because it's a stealth ship, obviously.
Though for the testing on Operation Flag, for those who have played, have like the armor abilities been working for you guys?
Yeah.
been able to play it.
I don't think active camouflage still doesn't work from what I've heard as of last update. Regeneration works fine. Overshield works fine. Hologram I haven't seen used at all. I don't know if anyone has used it. What else is there? There's like speed, which is basically removing the what is it? The fucking carry weight thing. I think the speed needs a buff one. I think the leg actuator one or whatever, that needs a buff, in my opinion. What else is there? Anyone? I can't remember all of them. There's a strength one. What does that actually do? Haven't seen that used. Does it just give you a
Increases
melee
melee
buff?
damage and gives you more carry capacity.
Oh, there you go. But that's all I can remember. If anyone else wants to add into that on chat, please. Yeah, cloak is broken. I did mention that. So
Spec Ops grunts are 100% invisible on Covey tiles.
All right.
Intended.
Intended. Yeah, that should be intended.
working as intended.
Exactly. Yeah, hopefully we will try to wrap up. Well, we plan on wrapping up the Covenant arc for the end of this year and finishing off with another new mode. I just all I'm saying is the Planet of the Apes, man. That's all I'm gonna
I
say.
just thought of an
Redacted.
ability. I just thought of an ability. The grunts get a suicide grunt ability. They have to have 2 grenades in each hand, and they can click a button, and it'll charge at the enemy, or charge forward with the grenades activated.
I mean, yeah.
Gonzo.
Potato.
So
The
if you guys are ready, like just check out the meeting hall. That suit. Just gather what you will from that little.
potato. After the Covenant arc, it has been confirmed. It's the Overmap arc. It was posted earlier. The links, which I probably should have pinned, but I'm an idiot. So there you go. But we've got the Overmap arc next, which I'm sure Kat will tell you lots about if you ask him.
The arcs are actually pinned in the announcements.
So there you go then. Check the announcements.
Oh wait, no, that's a link to the posting ideas for the Overmap one. Basically, the Overmap one is like all that space combat, all that good jazz.
You want me to pin the?
Can you even pin?
I don't know. I'm gonna
I don't
try.
think you can. I don't think you can pin the mod. I don't think I could.
I'm gonna give it an effort if it helps.
I believe in you.
All right, short message from me. If you're interested in the mapping lessons, we'll be moving over to general voice after this gets wrapped up.
Alrighty. So
I cannot pin.
I'm sorry. All right, TK, watching those Spec Op fucking grunts, Shad Spartans with E-daggers is hilarious. It actually is. Nice one, Potato. Now is a good time to do it. You have time.
Holy fuck,
time.
Inquisitor, that's a big fucking oof. That's gonna take you 3 hours to download and extract. Oof.
What?
Really? 3 hours? What kind of internet do you have, Deso?
I'm just saying, dude, the fucking repo is big. Like, downloading and then extracting. Like, extracting takes longer than downloading for me, to be honest, but that's because I have a shit computer.
Man, that's like, if I download the zip raw, it's instant. Obviously, I don't do that anymore because I'm using fucking GitHub like a civilized person. But
so yeah, I'm excited to see what we have in store for that because I've been told bare minimum on it. So yeah.
That's a lot.
Oh, cargo, or supply, or whatever you want to call it, on civvy positions.
I feel like that's going to be touched in the Overmap arc. Or correct me if I'm wrong, Gil. But
yeah, we're gonna look at it then.
oh, you're fucked. I'm sorry, you're fucked, Potato. Like you're fucked. Like that's my comment. You're fucked. If you haven't downloaded it now, you're fucked. Good lord. How do you have that fast internet in this modern age? How?
I have 150 or so.
Like, Jesus, I'm not even in a great... I'm in the
Kilobyte.
UK. I've got like 80 megabytes per second. Jesus Christ. How?
Or, no, I have
Australian
megabits.
internet.
Never mind. I have megabits. I have 150 megabits or so.
Potato, you're actually ruined.
Yeah, you're done for, man. Sorry. GG. It's been nice knowing you.
F. But no, the meeting isn't done, Riley. Like, if you have any concerns to bring up, now is the time. Like, anything. It's a meeting for a reason.
By all means, feel free to say anything you want.
Hold on, let me-
Stop asking to be unbanned.
Yeah, like you've been on server muted, so you can go ahead and just like if you want to just not type it out, you can just say it yourself. It'll be easier.
Yeah, that's a pretty established. There he is, Potato. How you doing with your potato internet?
Turn your mic off and back on again. What is the
Oh,
repo, by the way?
Have you not downloaded it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The GitHub,
Oh, okay.
Oh, my
the server.
Okay, the server itself. No, I haven't downloaded it in a while. I changed my
Not quite.
computer.
Yeah.
The code to go on the server.
And while you're there, have a look at my PR and trash it, please. Thank you and goodbye.
The medical system. I'm not sure if any of the auto doctors have been mapped, but we do have those now. They're like in the code. They just need to be placed.
Yeah, when are we making biofoam regenerate limbs? Fuck.
Covenant, Cryotube ready to roll out. They just need to be mapped in.
Have they been separately sprited?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
they look pretty good. They look a bit like the floating coffins from the mausoleum of the Arbiter, if anyone remembers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Somebody else wants to do that. Please map some like Covey drop pods or something because they need some like type of thing like that. Also, new overmap sprites. Like our scales are fucked up. Like the planet sprites need to be look better. Like ship sprites. Like if you want to do that, like please, that is on the table.
Kale, stop posting those cutscenes. It makes me want it for fucking Halo 3. Please. Please.
Fuck yeah, these cutscenes are awesome.
I played that. It was such a good game with all the remake and stuff like that. It was so good.
I swear to God, if they ever release MCC for PC, I will be very, very happy. Just for those cutscenes, that is the only goddamn reason.
Like no one can
Alright,
understand why they're not releasing Halo for PC.
It's probably what I would hope that what they're doing is that because I imagine that Halo Infinite will be like 2020. If they sort of late 2019 just suddenly release it on PC to get all the PC players sort of Halo mindset, who knows?
Alrighty.
Who
Well,
knows?
after this meeting, I'll try to gather the lore team and so we can get some things settled and set that up and get a date all sorted. And also, yeah, join the Steam group if you haven't, because I'm still planning on doing that game. Get the Steam code giveaway event.
Oh, yeah,
we
pop-
play Slayer.
Can you pop that in the meeting or the
The
announcements?
group, the group thing's pinned in the gaming pod.
Can I be in on that ROE meeting?
Well, yeah, you have the power.
I have the power, but I want to know if I'm allowed.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's gonna be just like the wiki lore guys and whatever and staff, so that'll be fine. But any more questions or concerns? Because if not, we'll just be cutting this short. Because anything we didn't talk about, it'll be talked about next time.
Nothing from me, so.
Alrighty, guys. I guess that's it then.
Good meeting, I guess.
Actually, I got one question. I just thought about it. I
Good
don't
timing.
know. I don't know if you guys have even considered it. They've kept talking about it in general chat. The hunting rock.
No. I mean, Fennec coded it. I don't know if Fennec's here right now. It's not
I don't
appear
think
so.
he is.
Hunting rock. That's it. I mean,
That's all it is. It's just a rock.
Why not, right?
I was just wondering about it because someone did go through the issue of coding it and stuff.
Oh, only comms. Yeah, Riley wants only comms.
I think all the
Okay.
comms are gonna be worked on, right?
I don't know. Yeah, here we go. Chad hunting rock versus virgin spine laser. This is what's going to be happening. The two weapons being made. Also,
Alright,
something
then.
I would like to just quickly touch on, like, this is going to be controversial, but I think that some of the weapons that are locked away for the whitelisted units should be available for the standard units. I think it should be behind platoon leaders, like a locked special armory still, but I think it should be available for unwhitelisted people because, like, in the Marine Corps, in fucking Halo, there were plenty of people using, say, the SRS or the rocket launcher. Obviously, they were still restricted and it needs to be tweaked for balance, but I think it's a bit unfair that only ODSTs or commandos can use these.
I mean, on the
That's-
frigate, that's not a problem because it's like we have the IRW officers. That so
Yeah.
basically he's the quarter, like the equivalent to the CM guy or whatever the fuck, the RO dude. Because basically, how it was, the Marines had a basic armory that already had the standard gear, but if you wanted anything extra like attachments or a special type of gun, the IOW officer would have to supply that to you.
Yeah,
And of course, if you
TK,
did try to break in the armory, they had rubber bullets and they could shoot the shit out of you because we had a problem with people breaking in there after the IOW officer told them no.
yeah, TK, they have rocket launchers currently on FC. It is behind because you know there's in the ODST lockers, there's those blast door buttons that only the officers can access. Those have rocket launchers. So if you ever see them used, it's a miracle because, as we discussed earlier, you basically just shoot foam missiles. So, no, okay. We're removing URF oxygen instead of adding weapons. I think grenade launchers are already in.
They
Yeah, they
are.
are.
So yeah.
What about an attachment? Is there a plan for that?
Oh yeah.
Make a Sprite.
Yeah. Sprite it.
All right. Oh, if
Yeah.
anyone wants it, they'll sprite it. I'm not doing it. I don't care. I'm a covenant.
Somebody sprite my Spartan lasers, please. Left and right. Thank you and goodbye.
I got distracted earlier. I was gonna say for Covenant to have something similar, you know how they've got like the brute plasma rifle versus the normal plasma rifle, and so on and so forth. We can make it like an attachment where you like press a little microchip or something into it, and it turns into a brute plasma rifle instead of a normal one. We can do that to a
Maybe.
lot of the weapons because there's been a lot of alternative weapons added in Halo 5.
But no, TK, I that's what I just said. I literally meant not for like the average I don't want, no, I shouldn't say that on the recording. The average Hubby Marine, I don't want them to have the SRS. I want the platoon leaders to be able to give it out. That's exactly what I said. But the SRS, definitely. Why would you not? If they have one per platoon leader, that's perfectly fine. SAW, yeah. An N7S, I don't think you need because they're like more of a special ops weapon. I can agree. Yeah, give that to ODSTs. That's just my opinion. So
The M7S is just a silenced M7, right?
yeah, literally, it's like
Yeah, no, the regular Marines didn't use those unless it was
Yeah,
a
exactly.
specific op. Like they did not use those.
But no, definitely the SRS and the rocket launcher, if it ever gets sort of fixed, quote unquote. Yes, the SRS can be really fucky, but is the difference between one or two Marines having it and one or two ODSTs having it? It's the same amount of players who have it. Just because there's more on the map doesn't mean more players are gonna, have it all the time. Yeah, ODSTs can't respawn. That's true. That's true. Sorry,
I
Deso.
actually had the intention of introducing vouchers to vending machines in the Ackley's, what Winged Dark Angel said. So I was basically going to
Yes.
put in a vendor, and you would insert the voucher, and it would select like a list of loadouts. I could probably bring in the other thing for that.
Well, is the Alkies declassified now? Potato has no idea what it is.
It was never classified. I've been like talking about this shit for fucking weeks.
Okay, well, either you can brief him on it or I'll do it because I mean, the game mode.
You're thinking about Kale's thing. That's different.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the Planet of the Apes is still classified.
Fucking
Well, anyway,
go on YouTube, type in Halo Mona Lisa, and watch that,
Yep.
and that'll give you the whole fucking rundown on what the Ackley's will be.
TLDR, only put Flood on a ship to experiment on it. It went wrong.
It always goes wrong. What are you talking about?
That's the real TLDR. And then Marines go on the ship to short shit out. That is the real short. That is the real short. So Flood on the ship, basically. Flood game mode.
Let's just nuke it from orbit.
Well, that would be ships anyway, so. But yeah, a voucher for PL, that would be great. Though I would argue that maybe I know that there isn't a squad leader role. Maybe there should be a squad leader role because I feel like PL is usually, it's like a lot of Marines under PLs. I don't know.
It would I'd suggest a squad leader role and not like a platoon leader because we don't have the numbers for something like a
Oh,
platoon
yeah.
leader.
But like, I think I haven't played CM in like years now, but when I played before, they had the heavy weapon specialist guy who literally could buy one heavy weapon, and then that was that. That was his power weapon for the squad. So if we had something like that, maybe that would be acceptable. Like you have like a heavy weapon marine role, and that role is you can select, say, the custom title like you can with standard marine, like marksman, anti tank, whatever. Or proper MG, and then maybe they can voucher it, as you said.
We could make
Just
it
not do-
where it's a loadout tag and the loadouts that we got, that we already have in the game. And
Maybe.
you can grab a voucher, but like make it where it costs a lot of loadout points so people don't just go getting like 3 SRS loadout cards or whatever.
Now I feel as though the loadout shouldn't be used for items that directly help you. Like some of them do, but only to an extremely minor extent.
I mean,
Like
it gives you a voucher that could be taken by someone else and stuff like that. So if someone stole it from you or something, or you didn't get a chance to vouch it, it would make it where the only way to access those vending machines would be through the vouchers too. So it'd be like,
well, no Eluxa because Eluxa, that's correct if you put it on loadout. Literally, someone dies. Like, what if someone loses their weapon? They just die, respawn, new voucher, new power weapon. It should definitely be locked to an actual role, or as I said, platoon leader that's limited in slots. So I would say if we did squads, which that's a different. There'll be like I'd imagine there'll be like 4 squads under a platoon or something. I don't know. Just
maybe whenever we
guessing.
get
I am,
higher numbers. Right now, I think 2 squads is good.
I'm debating removing respawns entirely for the Ackley's game mode just to give it more of a sense of like oomph, so you can't just fucking go running and Rambo that shit and then fucking jump back on 10 minutes later.
I agree there.
Do it. Definitely.
There's currently only 2 platoon leaders that you can. So.
We're gonna ID lock the pill bottles. Sorry, Marine, you can't open that. You don't know what that is.
No.
But how am I meant to make my Rumble mix? Riley, no.
Sorry, Marine, you wanted Tylenol? You can't fucking read. What are you, retarded?
Riley, no. Don't make me add something that specifically gives you as soon as you finish your fucking medkit loadout.
give a loadout item that gives you a bottle of pills, and you're addicted to them, and you have to take them every hour. And once you run out, you're fucked.
You have to like go and
Or
literally go and like
take them every 10 minutes.
beat the shit out of the medic, whatever.
Alrighty. So I'm guessing we'll just cut it here. That's why if you stop, like you can stop now. I know this is gonna be like drawn out now at this point.
Alright, I'll cut the recording and then I'll move myself down to general voice, and I guess whoever wants to go for the lessons can come down there and walk through it, I guess.
No TK, we're not adding ERP.
Alright, so there's the community meeting for December the 8th. So thank you for watching. If you did, hope you got a nice catch up on that. And hopefully you guys can make it to the next one.